Welcome to Module 4, Group 1, Productive Skills, Writing and Speaking. First, we'll be talking about the speaking skills. We'll look at fluency and accuracy. When you see a larger icon of the fluency, that means the task is focused on that. When you see the larger accuracy icon, it means the task is focused on that. All right, so we've divided this to 3 columns. We have speaking lesson activities, important features, and then the degree of success or satisfaction. First, we have the role play. Chosen that it's more of a fluency task with some degree of accuracy. Some activities that could be in a role play would be, a scenario like like a supply chain negotiation, where I think there's one called banana split, where it tracks the bananas from farm to the supermarket, and then all the steps in between. It's a fun activity, and role plays can be quite fun. For shyer students, they might want to maybe just do it in pairs or in small groups, and not in front of the whole class. After that, we might have a presentation. The presentation, it's something you plan out, and you want to have a focus on accuracy with the target language, but both fluency and accuracy. The teacher must provide students with a sample or model of language that they're supposed to be using, so like signposting or something like that. It'd be a good idea to use cue cards for lower levels. With this type of presentation, the teacher can comment on fluency, accuracy, the collaborative skills of the group, and the success afterwards, after the presentation. But the students get the opportunity to try to hit the mark. A mingle activity is largely a fluency activity. You need a large enough class, of course, in order to talk to different people and get to know them a bit. It can be quite fun, can be quite successful, and is definitely recommended. We would have a drilling component, which is highly accuracy and would usually be used in a vocabulary producing lesson or pre-teaching vocabulary. You want to do it quick and snappy, be done within 5 minutes, maybe. Very quick. Can be fairly successful and rewarding for both the teacher and the students if it's done correctly. A spontaneous discussion or some debates, if you're trying to speak to persuade, or any kind of speech, have some outcome and decide on the points where you're focusing on fluency and accuracy. The students can decide their own topics. However, they might struggle to speak at length on some topics without confidence or imagination. Storytelling, telling an anecdote. For lower level learners, they can use picture prompts and then retelling it several times to different partners. That's equally fluency and accuracy. Use language like, no, that's not what I said. And have some correction among the students. The preparation time, it takes a little bit of time to tell their story, and they got to think of their story and plan it out, maybe write it. Often the success of that comes down to the topic of the story. Giving one half of a sentence, and then the students can complete it with their own ideas. That would be equally fluency and accuracy. Fluency focused, but on accuracy is a factor. And the satisfaction depends on the language of the culture. Other, oops, I have role play already. But that would be a role play interview where you are giving them a topic like, what are your opinions on cryptocurrency? Or something like that. Just asking for an opinion and have a few questions. Role play. It's good student interaction. With surveys, you might want to develop a bit of accuracy, definitely, and some fluency. So similar with the interview, surveying, these could be combined. You want to develop fluency and asking the same questions to classmates, and it's also good student interaction. Reading out loud is definitely a focus on accuracy. You're reading from the text and you're trying to say the words correctly. It's not going to sound so fluent, but definitely more accurate. Fluency focused, but also punctuation, pronunciation, intonation, probably chunking of language would be a good strategy to employ with a reading out loud activity. Usually it's satisfying the reader and the teachers, but it builds confidence for the reader, but the rest of the students are left out for this kind of activity. Here we have a role play interview. Oh, I just said those. Sorry, I duplicated that one. Now, talk about writing skills. Same rules apply with fluency and accuracy icons. Gap fill. For writing lesson, this would be maybe possibly a reading activity as well, or you'd have the gaps, the words around the room somewhere, or in pictures. You can use synonyms and varying grammatical structures, and it really targets specific vocabulary. That's why it focuses on accuracy over here. Continue the story game. So if you start a story and you pass it down the line, giving time limit, some context or target language, and deciding who has the most imaginative or funniest story, so some kind of outcome where you can gauge the lesson, have a reason for this activity. Could be a great opportunity for students to get to know each other while the teacher kind of monitors. Interview questions. Once again, with the speaking activity, here we would probably have a more focus on writing them correctly. So when you say them, the accuracy, you both want fluency and accuracy, but definitely accuracy. Questions could be indirect and give the person being interviewed to respond in a way to express their opinion. So, like I mentioned before with speaking, these interview questions probably should follow like a sequence that's logical, and could follow on to a speaking task, as I mentioned. Creating new board games, specially designed for your classmates and their interests. So depending on the culture or what people are interested in, you could create a board game of their favorite pop stars or whoever, or their favorite artists or their favorite video games. So that leads to developing speaking skills more focused on accuracy. I put fluency here for speaking skills for accuracy, but the writing skills for it'd be more like a fluency thing. You probably have a point and form kind of like you wouldn't have full sentences. Board games can be used with all levels and fun, and give you a sense of confidence. Writing a presentation, so like the presentation before, so scripting presentations is an accuracy focused activity using cue cards. Just the success and the fun of this activity of giving a presentation, it really depends on the level and the age of the students. This activity might not be as successful with younger learners, or maybe lower level learners, but I think it could be successful with lower level learners, that maybe the younger ones would have a little bit of difficulty giving a presentation. Other writing lesson activities would be writing emails, where you would focus on the kind of language that you would use in an email, the formality, the transactional skills, kind of giving and sharing. The degree of success and satisfaction might be a lot of satisfaction for adult learners who write emails frequently. However, younger people might not be able to connect so much with this idea, especially teenagers. They might get bored of writing emails. Learners Learners write in English notebooks for a set amount of time per lesson. Now, this would be great for younger learners. It would definitely help increase the fluency. Accuracy doesn't have the necessity. The teacher's probably not going to check everybody's notebook every day. They're just going to say, "Did you write?" And if you give them a topic and set a timer, they can compare their later notebook or journal entries to their earlier ones and see how their writing has evolved or improved. And this frees up some time for the teacher. So definitely satisfaction for this, for the teacher. And it encourages them to keep a journal. And so it's going to be successful for the students. All right, so that wraps up our presentation. Hope you enjoyed it, and please remember to like and subscribe.